everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Slappin Kpop podcast. I am Sammy, and with me today is Dan. Alright, so this is gonna be us talking about a little bit on episode 11, and mostly the finale of Island. It's over.
It's finally over. It's done.
So, we're recording this about, I would say 5 hours after it ended. How do you feel, Dan, right now? We've had a little time to process what happened. How do you feel?
I feel, one, tired because I had to wake up at 6 in the morning to watch it, but it was worth it. I did enjoy myself. I think as a whole, I feel good.
We watched it together, by the way, as well.
Yeah, it's the only episode we watched together.
Yeah, we watched it through a Discord call, so I kind of know. This is the only time where we fully know our opinions, each other's opinions going in.
Mm-hmm.
But that was fun.
It was.
I've never spoken to you that early in the morning. It was a lot.
Yeah, I think
but
as
overall,
a whole,
how were the results?
The results, I mean, I won't want to spoil anything because we'll get there, but as a whole...
If you haven't seen it, you should probably go see it. And if you haven't seen it, someone on Twitter probably already spoiled it for you.
Exactly. It's not what we wanted. It's not our dream lineup. But...
It was never gonna be.
It was never gonna be. So we are surprised, but not at the same time. So I don't know whose fault that is, but...
I would say I'm 85% happy and, I would even say I'm 90% happy, 10% sad, but it's kind of like having a paper cut where, yeah, the injury is not that bad and you'll be fine, but does it still hurt, and is that the only thing you can think about? Yes.
Yes. That's a very good example, and that's kind of how I'm at the same time.
We got a paper... The show was just a long paper cut.
It was a journey, I'll tell you that much. They fooled us once with the changing the 12 to a 7-member group, and now, yeah, it's a thing. So
now we're here. The group is made. The group is done.
It's named as well.
Now we can finally do. And they sort of announced that they were going to debut this year, which is exciting.
Yes.
Or they were going to produce things this year, which is exciting. I'm excited for that. We don't have to wait that long because we're already in the end of September. So we have to talk about episode 11, which, in retrospect, is all a blur, because a lot of things are a blur.
Yes.
So, episode 11 was just Chapter 5, Dream of Dreams, and the Flame On performances. And then the elimination. And there was a bunch of stuff in the middle that we can't remember, because everything is just filled by the finale in our brains. So we're going to go through this really quickly. So, first was Chamber 5?
Chamber 5, Dream of Dreams.
Dream of Dreams, which had Haesung, Jungwon, Sonu, Sunghoon, and Jake. Those 5. And so, what do you think of that performance?
I thought it was cute because we had 2 people that normally don't do the concept have to, adapt and change their image to a very cute concept. Haesung and Sunghoon, who are both very professional and very talented, so it wasn't hard.
Yeah, they're both amazing idols. I don't think that there really is any kind of bad, I was never really that doubtful that they could pull it off, because they're just so good at what they do.
Yep.
But it was just interesting to see them, and just see how flustered they both were to do
Trying to change.
It's not what they're... Yeah. Who I was surprised by was Jake, because Jake adapted so well to that concept. That sweet little boy.
He wore little glasses and everything. It was adorable.
Yes. Very sweet.
Good song as well. Again, more great, unique tracks that...
This show has so many just... They're not covers, they're just pure songs.
They're all good. I'd listen to them normally from other groups, too. If this was, a title track or even a B-side for other groups that I like, oh, man, I would be listening to it all the time. I love them. They're really good.
I wish this was on Spotify. It's not, and it won't be, because I think the show's over. But I wish that this was on Spotify.
Same. And then there was the Flame On performance, who had
Yes.
K, Hanbin, Daniel, Nikki, and Jay. So they lost their leader, Sunghoon, which was a big deal because K said he didn't want to be leader. And then they lost their leader
Turns out he was leader anyway.
He became the leader anyway. So it was cool for him to have his, like, I could do it moment. And the Flame On performance was highly praised by the producers. They got a standing ovation.
Loved that.
They loved it. I think they loved the song. I felt both of us kind of didn't like it as much, and it wasn't because
I
of...
personally preferred Dream of Dreams.
Yeah. Same.
Chamber 5, Dream of Dreams, the most, straightforward title imaginable.
Yes, very common title for K-pop these days, unfortunately.
But, like, I personally preferred that, and I don't know if it was just how unique, because I feel like Flame On, I've seen them do this, essentially this song before. Not the same song, but this vibe. I mean, personally, I would even say this is a very similar to, like, a Dive Into You, and I preferred Dive Into You. Maybe just the fact that I preferred Dive Into You as a song more.
Right.
And it also had a very similar team. Like, the team didn't really change that much from Dive Into You.
Yeah, it wasn't that different than what we've seen before, which is, I think, why we like Chamber 5 more, just because it was like, ooh, new, refreshing, and it has people be liking it a lot, so...
I mean, it wasn't just the fact that it had all of our favorite boys.
No, nonsense. But it did help. I'm not gonna say that didn't make a factor. And also, the thing was, I think that they even pointed this out, like, Chamber 5 was just so uniquely all the members that could do this concept, because they even edit in Jay. They're trying to imagine Jay doing that. Jay doing Chamber 5, and it would be a disaster. Nah, it wouldn't suit him, which is why I think we liked it so much to see Haesung and Sunghoon do that, because
they work.
They need to be diverse in how they do these concepts, and if they can pull this off, great.
I mean, I think that groups, especially now in K-pop, like to be versatile. They like to have a multitude of different concepts, while they might have their signature concept that they continue to go back to. I think that it's good to, like, every once in a while you just want to have a more lively and fun track. Do I think that this group, which we'll get to the name in a second, I want to say it. I almost said it.
Don't say it.
Do I think that this group is going to have a super lively concept? No. But do I think that this group, they might want to do something like a Dynamite? Not to compare them to BTS, but like a refreshing, lighter song of just having fun, like Dynamite? I think yes, and I think that they want to just give these boys that skill of, this is how you do something that's not fully serious and dark and terrible, and you don't have to look mad all the time.
Exactly. Anyway, so they performed it, and it was all up to producers. It wasn't a global vote.
It had nothing to do with the votes. The votes were not important. And so from there, I don't actually remember what the votes, how they were ranked. I know that it was K was first.
Nikki was second.
Then Nikki was second. Then Haesung was third.
Yes.
And then from there, I don't remember. But Hanbin was last.
Unfortunately, Hanbin was last. Yeah, I think, I have it right here. It was K, Nikki, Sunwoo. Sunwoo just because of how Chamber 5 just was perfect for his concept. Was made for him? And then Haesung was fourth. Period. Yeah, that's kind of how he does things. Then fifth was Sunghoon again. He was Chamber 5, position 5, and fifth place. Ranked. Yeah, it was making a lot of fun of that.
He likes the number 5.
Yeah, and then Jay was 6, and then Jake, Daniel, and then last, other than Hanbin, was Jungwon. So it was kind of like a switch in ranks there. So that was pretty shake things up there, which does have a play in how they vote later on.
I think the thing with all of this is that, considering the fact of a lot of people look at this as like these inconsistencies, and I think these inconsistencies are entirely based on the public wants one thing and the people want and the producers want another thing. Like, you can obviously tell who the producers' favorites are versus who the people's favorites are, even though that gets all thrown out the window next episode.
Yeah,
we'll get there. But I think that the producers have a very particular thing that they have in mind.
Yeah, how they're going to build the group and how they're going to make songs for them, right?
Because I am 100% of the opinion that if Hanbin had made it through this round, he would have debuted because he has such a large fan base that is very dedicated to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he will debut eventually, and I think he has time to debut. And
he's super popular, so...
Yeah, and he's going to do great.
That's when building groups now, that's kind of what they go to now. Like, oh, does he already have a dedicated fan base that we can have to lean on when we debut, so we don't have to feel like we're going in with nothing, you know? Yeah. So it's always a favorite. Like, you look at, they're still taking people out of produces still. So
yeah, we're like produce and produce adjacent groups are just re-debuting and doing all this other stuff, and
because it's just makes sense.
Yeah, and everyone has a backstory now. I mean, the amount of times we mentioned people that were on Mix 9, Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot. So I think that all of them, and this is even going back to Gunyu and Taki.
Even ground people.
Like, I remember a bunch of these ground people, and when I see them, will that make me interested in that group? Yes, it's something that I'm invested in, and I will check out the group.
Oh boy, have we invested.
We've invested a lot of time, a lot of our time and energy. Oh my god, was this, we had a lot of interesting opinions this morning.
For sure. But yeah, that was episode 11. It kind of ended off, Hanbin saying goodbye, unfortunate. So, yeah. And then it just jumps straight into episode 12, our finale.
12. Episode 12
it's almost over.
It's almost over. It was a live finale. It was a live 3 hour?
It was 200 minutes, so yeah, close.
It was 3 hours, because it was 8 o'clock to, it was 7 a.m. for us to
6 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
6 a.m. for you, but it was 10 p.m. It was 8 p.m. Korean time to, I think, around 11 o'clock Korean time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was around 3 hours. And so we watched it live. We watched it together. And a lot of it was a blur because we were just so
waiting
nervous.
For who are you kicking?
Because they did a bunch of performances, and we'll talk about each of them because we just rewatched them. Because legitimately, up until maybe half hour ago when we rewatched them, I couldn't remember what happened. I know what songs they did. Do I remember what happened? No. This whole, a bunch of this is just a blur in my mind until they got to the rankings, and then I can name you the ranking by memory because I was just I was actually shaking. We were doing this, we were talking to some other fans too while we were listening, and it was just a lot of yelling. It was a
lot of screaming. Oh, there was so much furious
Dan,
typing.
I think you screamed in my ear 4 times.
I did. I screamed a lot. Thankfully, it was after my roommates had already gone for work, but honestly, oh my gosh.
I just want to picture your roommates just downstairs listening up and just the fuck is wrong with it? Is he dying?
I'm scared. Yeah, no, it was a lot of screaming. I was very animated this morning without that much sleep, so... Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was
we
a process.
both somehow are also sleep deprived. So this was a very fun.
Well, we're so used to it starts at 9 or it starts at 10.
It's a reasonable time for adult humans.
Yes,
we can sleep in a little bit.
Right, and then all of a sudden it's switch your sleep schedules, and I'm like, oh snap! I've been going to bed at 1 every day. Oh no. So yeah, it was a bit of a change.
So they started off with another rendition of Incredible.
This is the third rendition?
This is the third, because you had the original island one, then you had the ground one, now you have this one, which had the 9 islanders.
The 9 islanders. Which was an easy way. It was cool to see who got what part. It was a good performance. I don't remember it, frankly, because...
I mean, we just rewatched it. It was good. I enjoyed
at the time,
it.
Yeah, it was good.
The thing is just... I don't think it's exceptionally all that different from the other island performance, considering it has most of the same people.
Yeah, exactly.
And just less of them.
Right. So we gotta also acknowledge the audience, since we don't have a live audience. We can't
have a live audience.
We have Bang PD and his team of producers. And then the two baby groups that we got. We've got the BTS and we've got the TXT there, who both look out of place, unfortunately.
They
but
both look very tired, and I think
yes.
that they just announced that TXT is going to have a comeback in October, which means that they're probably furiously rehearsing for that, which makes them tired. Plus the fact of I don't think TXT know how to be mentors.
Mm-mm.
They didn't really ask TXT that many questions about being a mentor because
they've been doing this
babies.
for like a year, so
yeah, it's been about a year of TXT.
I don't know.
Think
I'm
is
still
enough
learning
time for them
myself,
to be-
kind of a thing.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing yet.
Yeah, and then they kept asking BTS questions, and they weren't prepared. I mean, I think there was a section where V was just talking about food the entire time, which was funny.
Also, mind you, the fact of the translations were being live done, so there's a bunch of stuff that we just don't
no idea what happened.
have.
Do you think
because
I'm
they
reading?
weren't
I'm sleep
translated.
deprived and I'm anxious. I can barely read.
And you're
as
also
it is.
dyslexic.
And I'm dyslexic, and they have subtitles go where half the word is cut off from one line to the next.
It's
so hard.
it's the fact of they're subtitling from a line before. Because you'll hear a name, and then someone else will talk, and I'm just like, oh, they're still subtitling the other guy.
Yeah, it was hard. So, yeah, I don't think I need to watch it again or anything like that, because I don't really care. But, yeah, it was pretty funny to see that they were there. It was cool that they were there. I mean, I felt appropriate.
Yes, I like that they were there. I think that they gave, they gave a lot of very good advice. I think that there was good advice given. I just think that they all looked tired.
Exhausted.
BTS looked tired. TXT looked tired. I think that also the fact of that they kept cutting to a tired-looking BTS did not help.
Did not help.
Jimin was going through something, and they just kept cutting to Jimin.
Poor Jimin.
And I felt bad.
In the middle performances, in the middle of eliminations, it didn't matter. He just kept getting his camera on him, and he's just like,
And I think the thing is that they gave genuine advice, and they tried. The thing is, BTS, none of the members of BTS went through anything like this. So they don't really, I don't know if they know what to tell them of they just gave them encouraging words, and it's BTS. They're just very sweet boys, and I think they did their best.
Yeah.
But it was also, they were put a lot on the spot.
So they had their first performance of I Incredible, and then they transitioned to behind the scenes back to preparing for their last challenge, which was another unique song because they keep making more of these suckers, and they're always good.
More songs.
How many of these are actually going to end up on the debuted group's discography? No idea. Hopefully a lot of them, because they're all worth it. They're all really good. So yes, hopefully they even if they have the same groups or whatnot. I don't know. Find a way. I love these songs. Mm-hmm. Please have them on Spotify. Please release them officially. So. The song they had
called Calling.
Calling, yes. How do I they split up parts. So they had to do all the 9, and they're splitting up parts. At this point they're like, well, most of us are going to be working with each other for the rest of our lives, pretty much. So we better start working and liking each other. So there was a lot of definite team bonding. That had happened in the last episode.
I think they finally realized how few people 9 people is.
Yes.
And they're like, holy shit, there's 7. That's only 2 people.
Yeah.
So, the odds of you being in the group are, just by the law of odds, very high.
Yeah.
Because you're 1 in 7.
Right.
Which is a lot better than 1 in 23.
Yes. Exactly. So it was pretty cute. They didn't show too much because there was a lot in this episode to go through. So they just showed them. They did a midweek evaluation just as normal.
Oh, they also did the fun videos. Do we want to talk about the fun videos?
Oh, the fun videos. Oh, so that actually goes in from last episode.
Yes. So
based on how they ranked.
Yes. So based on how they ranked last episode, which we said, they each got a different amount of time to make essentially what is a vote for me video. Which is exciting. They all got props. They all decided what they were going to do. And they released them, I think, last week. Right after last week's episode.
Yeah.
And so we had seen all of them. And what I did not realize was that there was actually no camera people. It was just them. They recorded the thing. They were the lighting. They were everything. Yep. They took COVID very seriously and were like, we're not giving you any more people. Nothing.
It was pretty funny.
It was very funny, but they did a good job, and I think that What were the ones that stood out for you? Because for me, I
I think
really
we might
liked
have the same.
Jake.
Jake and Kay were the two that
Jake
really...
and Kay were cute. So Jake's was essentially you heard Jake's Australian accent, which is very cute. And he just did like a very cute little story time with Jake situation, which was very cute.
Help Jake find his dream
Help
of
Jake
debuting.
find his dream.
It was very cute.
And then Kay did essentially what was a cute little egg yolk. It's the I know that there's a name for that, but it's just really cute.
Yeah, it took him a long time. They even showed in the
Yes.
scenes, it was like,
He
oh,
struggled.
it's daytime. Oh, now it's nighttime, and he's still trying to do this stupid
He's
shot.
struggling. He's struggling.
It was adorable.
I mean, you had freaking Jungwon in his little sheep outfit.
Sheep outfit, yep. You had Sunghoon that just took freaking flashcards.
He did a riff on the... It's not just flashcards. It's essentially the Love Actually scene. If everyone knows that parody, where it's just like, instead of talking, you're just like flashing the cards. It's very cute. I love Love Actually, so I found that adorable. And he's just a little shy boy, and I love him.
Yeah.
You can tell who my favorite person on this show is very quickly.
Yes. They're all
Mickey
good,
just
honestly.
was Michael Jackson.
Yep, he just was Michael Jackson. Hesong was in Rose Petals Fall. He was like in this like little like...
He sung you a song.
Yeah.
Rose Petals were...
It was very cute. Jay did this whole schoolboy concept where he's like, here's an apple saying, vote for me, I like you. It was kind of funny. They're all good.
Adorable. They were all sweet. I mean, Sonu just did like... Again, he was cute. And that's sort of he always plays up his egg yolk.
Mm-hmm.
And then Daniel was just, I think, another like similar schoolboy concept where he was just like taking you around, taking you a bunch of facts. It was cute.
And so then they went through the midweek performances. They thanked their producers with like a little like notes to them, which was so cute because they were taken aback. They were just like, oh no,
you get gifts.
I'm not gonna cry. What the heck?
It's like, because they just gave them, it wasn't a big gift, it was just like heartfelt messages, what looked essentially like a poster board.
Yeah,
and all of them just wrote, and they
like,
actually,
notes.
Like, it was actually like a decent sized, like, they all wrote like a paragraph, like a cute little message for them, that I think was very sincere, and it was just so cute, and they were just like, I think, it was very heartfelt, and I think that they were just taken back that it was just something so... I think it was very meaningful because they've been sort of, at least in terms of mentors we've seen, the only mentors consistently coming in to help them.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Zico and Rain in the beginning, but Rain was useful. Zico didn't do much. And also they were only there for like 4 episodes and then Zico went to the military.
And then it was like, oh, yeah, there's not much else. Oh well.
I need to go into the military. Goodbye, everyone. I'll see you when I come out. Hopefully this group will be fine.
Yeah, that's pretty funny though. And so then they performed, and the performance was very good. And then the producers talked, and they just said all nice things basically, because they're not going to say you did a bad job on the last episode.
They're not going to tell you did shit.
That's just mean. But as a whole, again, another unique track. Great. Like it says it's being released on Spotify and the likes. Like tomorrow or whatever.
I think by the time this goes up, it'll be today. So go check it out. It came out today.
Yeah, very good. I have too many plays of the Island songs, an abnormal amount, and this will probably just add to that because it's so good.
Yes.
Yep. And so then they cut back to in the middle of the week. So we had special guests arrive. The entire cast from week 1 till now, all 22, with the exception of Yunwon, who had to step off because of the injury, so that's fine.
Yes. They don't
basically,
they wanted to get too far into it, so they didn't really. They always mentioned 22 because I don't think they wanted to like mention that.
Worry about it. Let the guy rest.
Yeah.
Do whatever. So It was really cute. It was like everyone reuniting. They're all really encouraging to each other. They mostly
they were
only
just
showed the
bonding.
more recent people. Like they showed
showed a
like
lot of
Taki.
Gongyu.
They showed Taki. They showed like the people that had just been there and the popular ones from that, with like EJ and Kyungmin. Yeah, really. So that those people were the ones they focused mostly. It still was mostly just the Islanders, and like a little Q&A time where they joked and did truth or dare, made fun of each other.
They asked like the silly
most
questions
likely
of like
to do something.
Who's like the dirtiest, which was
Daniel
and
Jay.
I mean, he's also a baby, and Jay, which I think makes sense. Who is the most who would you introduce to your sister, which I think is really funny. And that ended up being Sunghoon, who I think that they have sort of dubbed as the visual.
Which I think is funny.
Like, one of his truth or dare questions is, like, do you think you're the most handsome in Ireland? And he's just like, yes. And I'm like, they've continuously told him he's handsome.
So, yeah. It was pretty cool. It was cool to see all of them. And they're told, hey, you're going to perform Into the Island again. All of you together. Yay!
And it's also for the first time, because anybody that was in ground never got to perform Into the Island.
No, and it's such a good song.
For example, Sonu never performed Into
No,
even though
he didn't.
Made it to the finale of this show, never performed Into the Island.
Which is hilarious. All they did was their behind the scenes little tracks that they made, maybe. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy that some of them hadn't even done it. Jake, whose mic fell and couldn't even sing his only line in that entire performance, now got to sing his line. I hope that I don't notice if he actually got that same part, but it'd been pretty funny if it was. But yeah, so it starts off with the island, the not the original, like the contestants knocked out. They do the intro to it, and then the finalists come out, and then they do it, and then they all do it together. It was very good. It was very emotional. I mean, we were super anxious to like kick people out because we were nervous of who was going to be.
It was all a blur. All of this was a blur up until the point where they had started to announce things.
Yes.
So we just rewatched all of these performances. This was a very good performance. I would have preferred a little bit more time with all of them together, because it was a little segregated of like all of the eliminated people first, and then bring out all of the Islanders, and
cool
then
people.
all of them together.
Yeah,
I would have preferred a little bit more interaction, but then again, it's 22 people, and that stage is not large.
No, it's not. So yeah, it was so great.
Yes, and then the Islanders were I don't know if they were later on, but they were the audience for this show, because no one else is allowed to be there.
It was pretty funny.
And also, I want to mention that they kept cutting back to BTS, and the only one that's just absolutely living his best life is J-Hope. J-Hope, at this point, I believe that J-Hope may have seen this show, because he just looks like he's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's giving them advice and talking about their BTS performances and blah, 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 and saying, oh, I really like these. And
Yoongi also was very good.
Yoongi was very encouraging, and just a normal sense, giving them realistic facts of just like, hey, don't worry about it and stuff. It was really cute. Mm-hmm. So I was really enjoyable. Which then they announced the biggest thing. The name of this group. And at this point, we're just like, well, they're obviously not being called Island or anything related to that. So we anticipated this, and we were hoping, praying to BT. From BTS to TXT, find good, strong names, okay?
Yep, TXT is a good name. But the thing is, the last 2 weeks, we've had Drippin', we've had Ghost 9, we've had P1 Harmony, like, we've had a bunch of groups that have had weird names be announced recently. So we're like, what could this name mean? And then they just show, the meaning is connection, discovery, and growth.
Great.
So that is what the meaning is, and then I think they cut to a commercial.
Yeah. They blur it out and cut to commercial. And they come back.
So we're like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? What are these 3 words? What word can mean these other 3 words?
Yep, no idea. And so they finally announce it, and it's called in hyphen. And
yeah, I think it's called in hyphen.
In hyphen. And both of us are just like facepalm.
So
like,
it is in hyphen. Spelled
in hyphen.
ENHYPEN.
It's
in hyphen.
In hyphen. Oh my gosh. I don't know.
I want it to be in hyphen just so it's not the words in
hype.
Just so I do not want to acknowledge or particularly like put emphasis on the word hype.
Yeah.
I call it in hyphen.
In hyphen. I don't know.
How about
it's a play on words. It's not great. No. I don't think it's good
it's not
in any
terrible.
sense. But it's
not the worst K-pop name I've heard. I've heard worse.
There are worse. But
are there better? Yes.
Is it disappointing? Yes. Do I wish it was something else? Yes.
Yes.
But will I learn to like it?
This group? Yes.
Yes.
I'm already starting to learn.
I'm starting to. It's just the Stockholm Syndrome of this show, though. Like, I mean, oh my gosh. They could have been called something so much worse, and I would probably eventually end up like, alright, well, it's got these boys in it, so I care. But yeah, not the best name. So from then on, they're referring to, like, who's going to debut in hyphen. And so they have all these cool graphics and all these cool things. I mean, it looks stupid, but we'll make it. It has a hyphen in it. It's dumb. The E is like a hyphen. Oh my gosh, it's not great.
No, I don't think it's not hyphenated. Not any of their graphics.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's not great. I'm thinking it because in the E, it's not a connected E. It has a little hyphen in the E. I don't know if you saw that, where the E is separate. Lord. It's not. It's so dumb. You see it?
I'm looking at it. Yeah, no, I don't think it's hyphenated. I think that's just a fun way of saying the word E.
Yeah.
I don't think that when you actually write it out, you have to hyphenate E-N. I think it's just an E, but they wanted to make the E look cool.
I think it makes it look cool, but also it's a hyphen and an E. So that's why I don't know. It's stupid.
It's not hyphenated.
Either way.
I wouldn't say it's hyphenated.
I wouldn't say it's hyphenated. I don't think anyone's going to ever spell it that way either. So that's fine. It's not great, but we're moving on because it's time. It's time to start choosing who the world and globe has decided.
So we're going to do this in the order that the show did, which means we're going to do rank 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, and then producer's pick.
Yep.
It'll make sense as we go through.
Yes, it does make sense.
First was 5th ranked, essentially, because they wanted suspense. They wanted to go up, but also keep the last person a surprise.
Exactly.
So 5th ranked was our boy Haesung, and this was the least shocking one of all.
I wonder if he was like 2nd or 3rd, they would have started with him. It felt like there would be no one better.
They just wanted to get him out of the way.
Yeah, he was the main character of the show from the start. I felt like, well, this guy obviously stands out compared to the rest of them. So
look, I think if you go back to when we had our original like first episode, when we're just talking about like the intro performances, we say
not even them as a unit. Yeah.
Not even them as a unit, just the intro performances, and Haesung just does all of the things, and we're like, he's a debut idol. He looks like an idol ready to debut. And the thing is, right after they say that Haesung, they cut to shots of TXT, and they look happy for him.
Yay! It was curious. It was cute. We're super happy. I think this was the given. We were super excited. I was happy because he's my bias. So that was great.
I'm very happy for him.
And then, so they did do this in like they were in this unit, so it's going to be these 3 people, and then they name one of the 3.
They narrow it down.
Yeah.
They narrow it down.
So they always had 3 people, and we always had to sort of guess who it was. Which then brings us to the ranked 4 idol. Is Nikki, which we
Nikki.
both were shocked at because I think he was up
shocked
against
Nikki. It was someone from the. It wasn't. Was it Dive Into You?
It might have been the Dive Into You group or something. I don't remember, but it was some big, more popular we felt. But he was surprised. He was like, the second person to debut is Nikki. Oh my gosh! But we were excited. I mean, this guy he's been through a lot from first episode to now.
Another one that's been like a super main character of the show. His struggles have been documented
from day one, literally being forced to center even though he wasn't prepared, but also the best dancer and he can pick up choreography and they didn't know what else to go on, and it was there was so much with this character. It only feels right.
With him being like center for the island,
Into the
Island performance, and then just being able to like continue and grow as a person and develop and change. It was so good, right?
It made sense. It really
it
felt earned for sure.
Yes.
So number 3.
Ranked, number 3.
Jake! We were so happy. Again,
this was the first time you screamed it.
I did. I was not.
This was the first
my
time
votes during the week, because they had it up, even in this episode, you were able to vote. And so my vote went towards Jake. You
divided yours, didn't you?
I divided it during the week between Kay and Jake, but then on the last day, I voted for Jake.
So I divided my votes also between Sunghoon and Jake. And I think it was just like one day I'd do one day I'd do the other one, because you could only vote for one person. And I was very scared that Jake was just not going to have the votes, because Jake has been teetering on that like 6th, 7th place spot, and I was scared.
Yeah, he was been on the 8th, 7th, like he was 7th, I think. The last 3 weeks in a row. So it was kind of like, yikes! I was scared. I was like, I do not want to have him be in danger at the very last, because I'm scared that they're not going to give it to him. So
yes,
3rd place,
I'm
Jake,
scared the producers
with the most
weren't
votes.
going to pick him.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like if he was up against someone else, he would probably not be picked, because there's other people they would prefer. But in terms of popularity and growth, definitely earned. I mean, instantly, I think from day one, he was also another huge, very popular one. They did the original, like, the Crown performance that was the last, and everyone loved. And yeah, Jake has been through a lot, from dropping his mic to now debuting in Hyphen. Mm-hmm. It's great. I was super happy for him. Which then brings us to the number 2. And at this point, we're getting nervous, okay? Because we're just like, Jake and Nikki both already made it, 2 of which were kind of like the borderlines. So we're like, we have a lot of big boys that are still need to debut between Sunghoon, Kay, Sunwoo. So we're just like, who is it going to be? So
and then was the time where you literally screamed the loudest.
Yes.
Was 2nd place went to Jay.
Shocked. I was shocked. I was like,
so surprised.
There was no way this guy got 2nd. Well, he did.
I was like, he did, and I'm like, that's not undeserved. We're not saying that because he doesn't deserve it.
No, he doesn't deserve it.
We didn't think he had the votes.
He didn't. That's what we thought. Like, I was just like, oh no, he's gonna have to be down here.
Yeah, and so Kay is gonna it's gonna be Jay against somebody. Like, we thought. This is the way this played out was not how I thought the rankings were gonna go.
No, not
at all. The other thing is that the rankings are very close. Like the terms of number of votes is not it's not like exceptionally different. So like you're dealing with a couple 100,000 votes or something like that, and it's not
less. Yeah, it's
like a ridiculous amount of votes.
Not too different between them. So it wasn't like overwhelmingly like, oh, this person. So he got 2nd, and at this point we're just like, oh boy, another in between, like, So we have Sunghoon, Kay, Sunwoo, who we're expecting, and then we have Jungwon and Daniel, who both have been in the bottom. So we're just like,
so like at this point I was just like, so
one of these is going to be in the bottom.
Yeah, like who of them is going to be in the bottom, and then the biggest of curveballs happens.
Indeed, number 1 ranked in terms of votes
in Island. From voting
is Jungwon. And we're just, at this point, we're just like exploded. The people we were watching with are just like exploding.
Like,
no one saw this coming. We're
very happy. Like,
for sure.
Ecstatic. We love Jungwon, but we were so nervous that he was going to be in the bottom.
For sure. I mean, he had been in the bottom, like, he was kind of... the entire first part, he got first place in 2 of the 4 challenges for part 1 of Island. And then in part 2, he kind of teetering kind of lower. But, and like...
he was low last episode.
He was. He was last, if other than Hanbin. So he was the one that would have, been expected to leave. So it was kind of like, oh my gosh.
Like,
so
what do we do now? So from there, like, Jungwon's first, so that only leaves Sunghoon, Sonu, K, and Daniel.
Yes.
Those 4. 3 of which we were sure were gonna debut, which automatically means that we're just wrong. One of the 3 that we thought was gonna debut is not going to.
And
then they announced ranked
The panic starts.
The panic starts happening. We realize that my favorite boy might not debut, so I just start praying, like, please, God, please. Oh, dear God. Like, I just start, like, having, like, a mental... Dan can attest to my mental breakdown of, like...
It was pretty crazy. We had no idea what was going on. And so, they announced 6th, and sure enough, it was... Sunghoon. Okay.
And I breathe a sigh of relief.
The biggest relief. At this point, we're just like... This squad is gold.
This squad is almost our from our last episode. If you watch our recap of episodes 7 through 10, the end we make a dream island squad of who we want to debut, and it is almost happened. It's this close to happening. Like,
this
it is
close
exactly
to happening.
Who we thought was going to be in this show.
Yes,
and so it's. Comes down to K, Sonu, and Daniel.
Yep, and the producers can only choose one.
Well, no, Bang PD has all of the power. He could have chosen as many as he wanted. He chose
could have pulled
to choose
people
one.
From Island. Yeah.
You still were hoping he was just going to be like, it's none
Momo.
of you, it's gun you, get in. He pulls a Momo and just is like, gun you, go, you won.
I don't.
It's like, what?
What? What's going on? Yeah, it was. At this point, we're just like, all right. So this is gonna be tough. I think both of it in our hearts, we had both set aside that Daniel was probably not going to make it. He had been very low.
And as time goes on, like, we sort of had that as like an opinion over the last couple weeks.
He wasn't going to make it. I don't think he was strong enough. But he's also the youngest, which means he has way more
all the time in the world.
So it left us kind of in our minds, it was really down to Sunu versus K. And in our hearts, we both wanted K. He is a lot older. He had been a core member of this unit. He was ranked first by the producers in the last episode. So we're just like, please K. Please K. Please K. And they're like,
K.
And the producers choose...
chanting. Everyone we were watching was also just like chanting
K. If anyone didn't know what was going on, they're just like, what on earth? What's okay? I don't understand.
It wasn't even okay. It was just the letter K. Just the one letter. It was so many.
It was a lot.
And then you just hear
Kim Sonu, and we're just like, oh no!
It's not even that we don't like Sonu.
No, we don't. It just was like...
It's just that, when I was thinking a couple days ago about people, and when we were talking about people that could leave, people that I was scared, Kay never crossed my mind as someone who was not going to debut.
In my mind, it was kind of Haesung, Sunghoon, and Kay were the 3 most talented, strongest people that I felt like they can't afford to get rid of.
After Gung-yu left.
After Gung-yu left is... Well, here's the thing. At the start, from the very early on, week 1, I think the 3 favorites I had were Gung-yu, Kay, and Haesung, and only one of them got to debut. So, They have their
very
lineup.
sad.
I'm sad. I was really wanting K. And here's the thing, right? We both coming into this had expected Sunwoo to debut. Like, there wasn't really a doubt in our minds.
It's not that we didn't expect Sunwoo to debut. It's not even that we were like, oh, Sunwoo's gonna leave. No. We were expecting a group that had both Sunwoo and K in it, and someone else was gonna leave. And then when you come, and then when the wires in your brain get crossed of like, wait a minute, the group you thought about is not what's happening. And I'm like,
exactly.
What? And also the group that we had projected last week of people that we want, like our Dream 9, the fact that it was this close to happening, I was like so like looking at it like, oh my god, it was that close.
And it really is how the votes went, because they saw who was in last of like, oh, who's in danger? Oh, it's Jungwon. He's super talented. We don't want to have him go. So everyone pool your votes to make him first. And so they did. And the people that were super popular the entire show around
went down.
E.g. like Haesung, Sunghoon, Sunwoo, and K. The 4 most popular people on the show are suddenly in the bottom 4, you know?
Well, not just that, but if you actually look at the votes, K was 7th. So if this was not producer's choice, which again, it is producer's choice, that's the rules of the show, we're not saying that, he would have been in the group if it were not for producer's choice.
Right. Which I think is fair. Like, I mean, as like 6 people get chosen by the Globe, they've been doing it very off, like switching between producers and global votes, so like it made sense. We're not, again, it's the paper cut syndrome. We're not sad because we love this group.
Hurt. We are
and
going
we
to
don't
love this
hate
group. We just
Sonu. We don't hate him at all.
This is not Sonu's fault.
No.
None of this is Sonu's fault.
We just love K. That's the biggest thing. We just
love K, and we wish that, like, we also love Daniel.
Yeah, we wanted OT9. Basically, after they announced this,
great.
We would have been super happy.
Like, if they had just pulled a, okay, K, Daniel, unfortunately you were not chosen by the producers for the 7th spot. But guess what? It's OT9. Bam, 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 bam. The confetti goes. Everyone's happy.
And you see the graphic just not work because they're just like, we weren't prepared for this. Oh no.
The graphic just slowly puts them like weirdly haphazard because they have like this weird digital rendering of all of them together. It just haphazardly puts them places
like
of just like congrats.
Like,
it's
right
a 9-member group. Or like Bang PD stands up, he's making his speech and he's like, you know what? I'm wrong.
It's a 12-member group. No, take it back.
Here.
It's 22. We're gonna have 2 groups.
It's a 22-member group.
No idea. Yeah, the future of these people are definitely not just, well, your career as an idol is over, go back to working at McDonald's and trying to work a desk job. Like, that's not what's happening. I feel like
they're going to debut, and I think they're going to debut sooner than people think. I'm excited. I want K to debut somewhere and soon, but the thing with K is K doesn't have to do military service, so like he has time to debut.
For sure.
And I think that I will be excited. I think that Daniel has all the time in the world. Daniel's 14 years old. He's got all the time in the world. And then K, while I am upset and while I am sad, I'm not like...
I think his potential is too good to pass up. Like, he was helping a lot with choreographies. He was definitely a good leader, and I felt like he definitely has a place in another group, if not, you know, another big hit group, you know? Like, I even can see him going solo. That's just how my head goes, but I could see him, like, making his own choreographies that he's done and just doing like a whole solo thing,
or like it would be
really cool
doing, like, if K even doesn't want to be an idol anymore, if this has just stopped him doing choreography. He's a wonderful he's an amazing choreographer.
Yeah, he was always making changes. He was always like adding things to things. He has a talent that is and even I like Bang PD didn't want to waste that. So he knew who he was before coming in. He had been a trainee for a while, so definitely not out of the blue crazy for him to debut in another group shortly. So like, I don't think that that's the last thing we're going to hear about any of them. Even like a lot of the other trainees, I think Gunyu is going to do great things. I think that Taki's going to do great things. I think that Hanbin's going to do great things. Definitely a fan base and go somewhere.
I mean, Yeah, and I think that even a lot of the grounders will see them debut here and there and doing this or doing that. I don't think this is the last we're going to hear about EJ or anything like that.
Mm-mm. Their lives aren't over, and I think that the way they treated the like having them come back and stuff, they're still committed to like working with them to train them and make them ready for another.
And
debut.
again, do I think that they're going to be in a Big Hit group? Probably not. I don't think Big Hit is going to make it a habit of producing a new group every year like they have been for the last 2 years.
Right.
But I do think that they're going to debut in different companies. There's always K-pop debuts happening. I think that it's not going to be the last we hear about any of them.
Mm-mm. So yeah.
So let's talk about N-hyphen.
Yes.
So
Where can I pre-order their album? Because
so the group we ended up with was Jungwon, Jae, Jake, Nicki, Haesung, Sunghoon, Sonu.
Yep.
I am very happy with this. Taking away all the sadness that we have. And again, that's going to go away, and we're going to end up with just the happiness that we feel, but I'm very happy with this. I think it's one of the best lineups I've ever seen in a, like, voted on idol competition show like this. Mm-hmm. It's one of my, I think it's it's basically a perfect lineup. All of them are super talented. I'm excited to see what they do. All of them have proven themselves. They're all fun. They're all sweet. They all have great personalities.
They all like each other.
Each other. There's no tension there. Mm-hmm. And the tension that was there was already resolved.
Yep.
Where do we pre-order this shit?
Exactly. I'm excited.
Dan, you already stand?
I stand before the show was over. I stand at 12. Like it didn't matter at that point. I was like, well, I'm already committed to this point. Like I might as well just love the group, whatever comes out of it. I took the time to memorize their names. I made freaking flashcards. Like
We did make flashcards for all 23 of them.
Yeah. So I think I'm good. I think I'm ready to stand in hyphen. I wonder what songs they'll take. I hope they do. I keep saying that because I really want, because I felt like I couldn't enjoy half of the the Incredible or even Into the Island sometimes. Calling definitely, just because I know that it will be off-put because the group will have people in there that didn't get to perform again, like it was kind of weird. So like when's
you want another version with just
the 7.
You want the
7 debut decided idols.
No, you want the N-hyphen version of Calling. You want the N-hyphen version of Into the Island.
I want the N-hyphen version of Flicker and Chamber 5 and Dive Into You Flame On.
We're finally gonna get to see Jay try to do
Chamber 5 dreams.
Chamber 5.
I hope so. We'll see. They might. I don't know. So that's exciting. I would enjoy it. I feel like they could easily do some of those performances just as B-sides on tracks. They don't even have to promote them on music shows or anything. Just have them to the public, because I know that there's been songs like that where like, oh, they did that during their survival show era, like, oh, that's great. Mm-hmm. Like I think of Elevator, like that was like came out kind of after the fact. The thing with
Elevator is that Stray Kids lost nobody from that show, so it's the same people.
It's the same. It didn't really make a difference in the end. Right.
And like there's always one song that they keep doing. I think it might end up being Calling.
It might be Calling.
Promote more. But I do think that they are going to do... I think that Into the Island is their pick-me. So I don't think it's the last we'll hear of that song.
No, definitely not. And that is such a good song. And every time they performed it, we loved it. So
it's one of Dan's favorite songs of the year so far.
It is.
And it's not even the version with your favorite woman.
No.
It's specifically the
It's just the applicants, which is everyone, kind of. It's not even, like, any distinct people. Like, I can pick up voices now that I've listened to their voices so many times, but it's kind of a mix, because I know, like, some of the people that didn't even make the group are in there. So it's kind of cool, but still, yeah. I want an OT7 Into the Island so that I can shamelessly just listen to
Play
that.
it on repeat.
For sure.
Repeat.
Yeah.
Till...
I have a lot of island plays, and I'm not ashamed. So, yeah. Anything else you want to add? Anything that you're excited for particularly?
I'm excited for them to do one of their episodes of their inevitable Weverse variety show will be them at a skating rink. And I will be very excited to see them try to ice skate.
That would be funny. I'm excited.
If they don't do that, Big Hit. I can
call
make
me. I'll help you.
Call me. I will give you all of the Big Hit. Take that idea for free. I'm sure you've already had it, but dear God, it's amazing. And then because I picture that not all of them can skate.
I mean, we only saw two of them try.
And they didn't do great, but I don't think all of them can ice skate. I just want to see Sunghoon doing, like, axles around them as they're, like, trying not to fall. Yeah.
I'm excited for Big Hit level production money into
I'm excited
trying
for the lore.
to, like... Oh, no lore. No lore. Okay, that's the one thing I don't want. I do not want In-Hyphen lore. None.
In-Hyphen's gonna have all of the lore.
I don't want any lore.
I just love
There's
how
no
angry
story,
you get it.
okay? Oh my gosh.
I'm
I'm getting triggered just imagining Haesung and like Senu having like a fight between like this rose that has magical property. No. None of that. Delete it. Not happening. I want music. I want good music. I want good production with like cool visuals and the money that you know that they have put into a group. Because then we'll get to see them in their full light where they're the best ever. And they'll make... Here's the thing, right? This has still been a survival show where people are still struggling and they're trying to meet their standards, right? Now, they're going to make music that is literally made for them to make them work, you know?
Yeah.
So...
It's songs actually written for the members.
And made in a way that emphasizes their strengths.
Correctly.
So you're going to have Nikki breakdown dance sections like every time. Oh, it's going to be front and center. You're going to have...
We're going to get the vocals from Jungwon.
Exactly. It's going to be great. Like, that kind of... That's what I'm looking forward to. Like, I'm super excited. Because they're always, like, trying to do stuff they're not really in their caliber.
To fit people into boxes.
Yeah, well, like, oh, who's going to... Like, they didn't get told what part was what. They literally had to, like, I want to do this part. Or have Jay tell you what part you're going to do in the last episode.
Jay.
Jay was also, like, the storylines in this was great. It's all editing and it's made to be that way, but it was great to see.
Look, I think that the editors did a great job. No one came out looking terrible.
No.
No one was, I think, too evil edited. Mainly because I think the evil editing of the show was just selectively not showing people. I don't think they purposefully showed anyone in a bad light.
No.
I think that they just showed the genuine struggles that these boys had and how they grew and changed from it, because all of them had weaknesses. Indeed. And then they all had to work through them together.
Together as a team.
Jay originally we were like, are they evil editing this kid? And then no, it's just that was his personality, and then guess what? He relaxed, and it was better.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was so much better. And I think he's going to have so much fun in this group. Now, again, it's set and final. You're not in the risk of getting kicked out any second. I think it's going to be really fun to see. They're all very young, so they have plenty of time to grow as a unit. I mean, there's no one born in the 90s. This is a 2000 and up lineup. It's pretty young.
That's what happens, Dan. We're old. We're K-pop veterans at this point.
You're telling me the K-pop veteran. Oh dear. Yeah.
You're an old man in this fandom, Dan.
I remember when TXT debuted. So like,
eventually that will be a K-pop veteran thing to say.
Oh,
TXT
goodness.
will give like.
Oh no! In the military. Oh, gross. Yeah.
TXT lore will have like gone to the point where they're actually being able to like use actual weapons and not just be super emo.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, this is a big hit group. There's always lore.
Oh, all right. I don't have anything else to say other than no lore.
I am excited. I want more. I will be pre-ordering all of the copies of this group.
Oh dear. Yeah, Big Hit's gonna take my money finally. I
Look,
stayed away.
Look, between all the groups Big Hit and Big Hit Labels owns, Big Hit might as well just have the direct link to my accounts. I might as well just give Being PD, like, here's my credit card, keep it on file.
Yeah.
At this point.
I'm not excited to have to spend more money on a group just because I want to, but I'm going to definitely enjoy it.
Like, I can't resist supporting my boys.
I can't resist it. I want Hesong photo cards and just
you want Hesong photo cards. I want... Look, at this point, Sunghoon is too far on my bias list for someone who hasn't even debuted yet. I'm, like, thinking about my new bias list, and I'm like, well, no, he has to go up a spot. No, he can go up a spot. No, he can go up I'm like, at this point, I'm like, is he top 5? Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
Over idols I've been following for years, I'm just like, but he's my child.
This is what happens when you invest how many weeks?
I've invested so many hours.
13 weeks at this point.
It's been 13 weeks, and how many hours of just pure podcasting, not counting just the discussions we have off podcast.
How many times we get kicked from our own freaking talk with our friends because they don't want to hear it.
It's over. It's finally over. The Anti-Island podcast happened. Now the 2 more Island podcasts happened. And it's over.
We're done.
We're done.
I enjoyed it. Will I do it again?
I had fun.
Will you do it again, Sammy? You already said you wouldn't do this Island podcast.
I already lied, so if
what?
I'm a liar again, who cares? But no, I don't think... I've never done it while the show was airing. I've only ever done these shows after they've aired. And most of them I find to be emotionally exhausting even while I'm watching. Like, I get very sad while I'm watching the show knowing what the group looks like. I feel very sad now. I didn't cry, but I was very sad. I was very emotional.
I definitely think if I am going to watch another one of these, it has to be live. I don't think I could go after the fact. There's no point.
You still haven't watched the Twice one.
No, and I never will. Like, there's no point. Like, I already know who's in the group. I already know what journey they had to go. I know what they've become. You already know
most of what the other girls are doing.
Yeah, they're all in other groups, so that gives me hope. Really popular ones as well. So, and solos. So Somi and Aizwon Itzi's. So, like, yeah, like, I have hope that these guys will debut in other groups one way or another. So, yeah, I'll never watch another one of these unless it's live. I think it's the only way I'll be able to enjoy it without, you know, feeling the fact of, oh, this is what happens, so there's no point in getting invested anymore. Because I like getting invested. I think
I've already been a lying liar. Look, I've already been a lying liar. And so, if I'm that again, it doesn't matter. So, I'm going to say now, the most I will do is a show like Kingdom, where the groups are debuted, and it doesn't matter, because the groups will still be together after it's over.
We shall see.
I'm not doing one of these shows again. I'm emotionally exhausted. Look, I've already lied about it once. What's lying about it twice?
Nothing.
Like, it's Big Hit, man. Big Hit just makes me do things. They have me.
I mean, 17 showed up for crying out loud.
Yeah, 17, BTS, TXT. It's a Big Hit show with adorable sweet boys that I can now, like,
and a cool mystical egg. And a
fun mystical egg in a cool, weird cube building. This show was made for me.
Indeed. Alright. I guess I'll close this off by saying...
Close it out.
Thank you so much, Sammy, for watching this with me. I don't think I would have enjoyed it as nearly as much as being able to podcast it with you. Definitely would do it again. We shall see what happens in the future with these groups. Feel free to listen to any of other episodes that we've created. Follow our Twitter. We have a bunch of funny memes on there making fun of Island and me specifically. So,
also, we're on Spotify, and if you're on Spotify, we are on YouTube, and we're on any other podcasting sites. Follow us on Twitter, and also follow our new K-pop collection Instagrams, which we will start using a little bit more often.
Instagram.
All right? Yep.
That's good.
we'll see you next episode when we're doing something other than Island.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun episodes coming up. Bye.
For sure. Bye.